Hello, all of you beautiful people. How are you doing today? I'm doing wonderful. I'm here with my hubby today.
Hi.
We are going to be doing the testosterone video, which was not pre-planned. So this is most probably with dogs barking and everything going to be a video that is going to be edited and edited and edited some more. The dogs are outside. They're going to bark every so often. The kids are inside. That's why we're doing the video outside. Sitting in the gazebo. It's a wonderful day. So the first thing, you guys must have by now seen my introduction to the hormone videos, and we are going to start with testosterone. I first was going to break the videos up in hormones for females and then hormones for males, but I think it would be better to just take each hormone and then discuss them both, how they will benefit or what they will do for males and what they'll do for females, what the shortage thereof will happen, blah, 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 and so forth. So we're going to start with testosterone, which is the first hormone, okay? So the first question is, what do we know about testosterone? What I've been discussing with the people in the group is the basic shortage or low testosterone levels in humankind, okay, right now at this moment. What is it that happened in our world? Because if you look at our predecessors and our forefathers and great-great-grandfathers and whatnot, why is it that they never struggled with the same problem? Don't even know. We'll talk about the... how do you know whether you have low testosterone levels? Because a lot of people have it and they don't even know. So before we get to that, what do you think is happening that this has become such an epidemic that testosterone levels are so low in males and females?
Okay, so first you should know that the testosterone levels in your body are controlled by the amount of estrogen in your body.
Okay.
See? In your body, there's this nasty little enzyme, for men it's nasty, called aromatase, that converts testosterone into estrogen. Now, your body will make testosterone until the estrogen levels hit a certain point, and then it will stop. So if you have lots of aromatase, which typically happens if you consume lots of alcohol, especially beer, or if you have a high level of body fat, you will end up with high estrogen and low testosterone levels. Now, the other nasty little fact is that there are so many chemicals in everyday use that will act as estrogens in the body, including some detergents and stuff. And all those things, the body will pick up and see, oh, there's enough estrogen, I can start making testosterone.
Okay.
So probably if you never take a bath and you never wash your dishes, put soy in everything, hide it, and that's also another source of phytoestrogen.
The actual estrogen levels.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's the main thing. And of course, there's another contributing factor. I mean, our whole environment is becoming polluted with estrogens in that women who are on the pill are taking synthetic estrogens, and well, guess what? It out again, and it ends up in the environment. That's not normal estrogen, because normal estrogens, like it occurs in the body, is not orally active. If you ingest it, unless you ingest a huge amount, it'll just get broken down by the liver and, well, you'll pee it out again. Whereas the chemically modified forms, such as in the pill, that has been modified so that it is orally active.
Okay.
So there's lots and lots of that in the environment by now.
So let's pop over to what we just discussed before the video was, okay, the controversial or the old school technique of years and years and years of treating women with estrogen as opposed to the bioidentical hormones, and how does it affect the medical society? Why is it that the doctors that I so go on and on about is so afraid of any hormones or anything that's different?
Okay, so first of all, the original synthetic estrogen that was given to women for hormone replacement was made from pregnant mare, such as in horse, urine, premarin, pregnant mare urine.
Okay. Sorry, I'm laughing because the neighbor just started mowing their lawn. That always happens to me. If it's not the dogs barking or the kids wanting food, the neighbor has to, on a Sunday morning, go and freaking mow his lawn. So I'm hoping that you're not picking this up on the video. If you are, then you're going to have to redo the damn thing. Okay. So it's originally made by horse urine, and this treatment has been going on for generations and generations, decades. Okay.
Well, that's not the right stuff.
Okay.
And first of all, just replacing estrogen in a woman does not fix the whole story, because you're giving a synthetic analog that's not the right thing, and you're neglecting the testosterone, because all estrogen in the body comes from testosterone that gets converted. Even if it's made to be estrogen in the ovaries, it first goes through that step of testosterone or one of the other androgens to estrogen. So if you just replace the estrogen, you're going to end up with low levels of androgens, and women do need that.
So, this whole thing of males. Let's go into males and testosterone. So, the whole bioidentical hormone treatment and whatnot is very new to the medical society. So the doctors, obviously, after they've schooled, I don't know if they're supposed to keep on studying, and they most probably won't be studying or research or do anything like that, which is outside of their field. And so far, there has not been thousands of doctors that's been interested in hormones. It's fairly new, the whole thing with that they're only now finding out about male testosterone levels being low and all of those things. So there's not a lot of doctors. I mean, as generations go by and as the newer doctors now study and they become, doctors and they're in med school or whatever, these things are starting to get introduced now. But for the moment, the doctors that exist has not been updated and has not been re-educated in hormones. So what happens is you go to a normal doctor, and this is what will happen, okay? If you go as a female, if you go to a normal doctor, he has no problem just putting you on the pill. He doesn't have to have any knowledge about females. He just tries this pill and then tries another pill and then tries the other pill, and it just screws you up altogether. Then if you take them, now remember, males and females both have estrogen, testosterone, as well as progesterone, okay? If you take a normal doctor, a female goes to a normal doctor, he will have no problem just giving her estrogen. They've done it for years, they've done it for decades, so it's always how it's been done. However, if you ask a normal physician to test a female's testosterone levels, they don't want to touch it. They don't know anything about it, so therefore they will say it's not needed, blah, 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 blah. The same thing with a man. If you take, with the testosterone now being available to most family physicians, okay, there is a thing called, what's a gel? Androgel.
That's one form.
Okay, that's one form. That's the form that most family physicians will give to a male. Okay, so this is how they test for male testosterone. So first of all, they'll send you to go and get a blood test done, and then the medical way of doing the blood test is there's a range of 0 to what they say is the normal range.
About 300 to about 1100, depending on the lab. I think that's nanograms per whatever.
Okay, so 300 to 1100.
Right, if you're anywhere in there,
you're normal.
As far as they're concerned.
Okay, so 300 being the lowest level, 1100 being the highest level. So if you're 300, doesn't matter if you feel like shit, because we still have to, we'll right after this, we'll get to the symptoms of how do you know your testosterone levels are low. Okay, so if you go to a doctor and he tests your blood and you're at 300 range, okay, if your doctor, depending on his mood of the day, he might say, okay, you're on the lower range within normal, so we could give you a little bit of testosterone, okay? He'll give you the minimum dose just to up your level just a little bit, okay? Which screws the body up, because it's not enough to actually do a proper job. It's just enough, because this is what happens when males get testosterone from outside, okay? Their own testosterone levels, that their own body stop making testosterone. So if you give him just a little bit of testosterone, so say your level is at 300, and you give that person just a little bit of testosterone, what's going to happen is the body is going to realize that he's getting testosterone from somewhere, so the body is going to stop making testosterone. So the only testosterone you have in your body is in the testosterone you get in. So you feel even worse than when you started because you're not getting enough, okay? Now, also, there's another thing that you guys have to know. Every person is different, okay? I'm like an ox. I can take medication that will kill a horse, okay? And it does absolutely nothing to me. Any medications that say, don't drive, don't drink, blah, blah, blah. If you take this medication, I can take 1 pill or 2 pills and I'll just feel better. I won't feel sick. Johan can take a half a pill and he'll be out for a half a day. So just the way that medication works in your body, okay? The doctors have this dosage which they give all the males. It doesn't matter whether you weigh 100 pounds or whether you weigh 300 pounds, whether your testosterone levels are 300 or 1100, this is the dose you get, okay? And that doesn't work for everybody because everybody feels different at a different level of dosage. I mean, you can get some people that, some men that their levels are at 300 and they're happy as the world. Like, there's nothing wrong with them. Their bodies cope very well with a level of 300. Then you get other guys that go up to 1100, which you have to know is not a high testosterone level. It's just the higher of the normal range which the medical system gives you, okay? So there can be a guy that goes around with 1100 in his system that feels like shit all the time, okay? So before we continue on with that, let's start talking about what are the symptoms for males to figure out that they have a low testosterone level. Because here's the thing. A lot of people, a lot of males have low testosterone levels at a very young age. I mean, we've been talking to, do you realize that there's boys that goes to the doctor, they're 20 years old and they go for Viagra. They go and ask the doctor for Viagra because their testosterone levels are so low. Why is it that a 20-year-old boy doesn't have testosterone? So something is definitely wrong with the crap that we're putting into our bodies, with the crap we're eating, with the environment, with the estrogen that's been taken over, like that's taken over the world, right? So my question is, let's start with what are the symptoms for a male to recognize that he has low testosterone?
Well, the first one that everybody would expect is low libido, but that actually only happens when you're quite low. Long before that, other things happen, such as you just feel blah. You have a really hard time making decisions. You're indecisive. You're
mentally impacted.
Yeah, you're not assertive, and you just feel, I don't know, overwhelmed by stuff.
So it's emotional roller coaster.
And a lot of so-called hormone doctors, remember in conventional medicine, an endocrinologist is a doctor who deals with hormones. Now, some of those, when it comes to sex hormones, are absolute quacks. They will do stuff such as give a man, say, 300 milligrams of testosterone injected every 3 weeks. But they'll give it in a form that has a half-life of a week. So the person's levels will skyrocket to, say, 3,000 and then drop over the next week or 2 or 3 before his next dose to below normal. So he'll go from way above normal, way below normal in a 3-week cycle, and he will feel like crap.
All the time.
And the doctor will be fine. Because he's getting the right stuff. Instead of giving him, say, 100 milligrams or 150 milligrams every week, giving him a triple dose every 3 weeks, I mean, that's just
ridiculous. Okay, so why is it? So people, the reason why these conventional, or this, let's talk about the endocrinologist, does this, okay? Testosterone is being... what's the word?
Well, it's a controlled substance.
It's a controlled substance.
It's an anabolic steroid.
Okay, so it can put muscle on you, okay? So because of that, the doctors, the endocrinologist, won't actually give you the medication. Like, he doesn't want to see you every week, okay? And the life of the testosterone in your body, like Johan was talking about half-life. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but I'm not English, so for me it didn't make any sense. But basically, when you get the injection, okay, your testosterone levels gets boosted up. But the life of which the testosterone lives inside your body starts declining immediately. From the moment you get injected, the next day you're at your highest level. Say you're at 3,000 or whatever, like Johan said, right? Then from there on it starts. So that first day, you feel awesome. I mean, you get this boost of testosterone. You feel like a man. You feel strong. You feel, emotionally, not emotionally, you feel
solid.
Yeah, you feel solid. You feel like you're supposed to. You feel like when you were 20, okay? Plus you have a wonderful libido. All of a sudden your wife looks all sexy all of a sudden, and it's fabulous. Then the moment you've gotten that big boost, right, or spike up there, immediately the testosterone levels start going down. So after the first week, half the testosterone is gone already. After the second, now of course at 3,000 you felt fabulous. Now you're halfway where you were when you got the injection in the first place. So a week later, all of a sudden you have no libido, you're tired, you start feeling a little bit more irritated and not knowing why, you're not quite coping so much. Then another week goes by. Then you have half the testosterone of what you've had in the second week, like in the,
Right, so if you had 3,000.
Yeah, then you have 1,500 in the second.
1,500.
Yeah.
After a week, you have 750 after another week.
Yeah.
And you're at 375.
Okay.
At the 3-week point.
Exactly. So by that point, you're like a woman who is menopausal or PMSing, okay? And this is the exact same thing that the doctor did with Johan when we were in Canada. Instead of giving you an injection every week, saying, okay, this is the level your body should stay at. They give you this level, the injection that lasts you like 3 weeks, which does nothing except fuck up your hormones because you're running up and down like this because of the drop and the rise of testosterone in your body all the time, okay? Which doesn't work. And for some reason, they haven't figured that out yet. They just go around doing this. This is the treatment that they now have learned by the book. So you don't go outside of the book, and then they're fucking people up completely because they're basket cases. Men who do not have a stable level of testosterone in their bodies all the time act like women. They start acting like women. And it's not only the testosterone that gets screwed up, it's also all the other hormones that screwed up, because one hormone works, like Johan said, with the other hormone. So your estrogen levels are going to scoop up and down, and after a little while of getting this treatment, wouldn't your estrogen levels be all fucked up again or screwed up?
Yes, but